If you would like to learn how to make a really simple dress in only 30 minutes for any size, then you are in the right place. But before we get into that, let's see the bloopers. You just smacked the camera. Ah, my shirring's on the wrong side. Whoa, I ran out of bobbin. Oh, it's so satisfying. I'm marking. Hi crafty people! Today Isabel and I are sharing with you how you can make a dress like this in 30 minutes. How old are you, Izzy?
4.
Isabel is 4 and I've made a dress just like this for Isabel. I've also made one for Alice, who is our 3-year-old. And I also made this dress for myself, but I made it slightly different to the one for the girls in order to make it within our really short time frame. So Isabel, do you want to tell us a bit about the dress?
Yeah.
What do you want to tell us?
It has pockets.
Yeah. It has pockets in the side seams, yes. That's the main thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, pockets is the most important thing in a dress for sure. The dresses are made from any woven fabric that you have, and you won't need a pattern, you just need 5 measurements. So for yourself or whoever you're making this for, of any size, you're just going to do 5 measurements and you can make this pattern too. This dress has some shirring on the top, and for the girls I've shirred the entire bodice, and for myself I've just shirred the top part and the waist part because it was faster to do just those 2 pieces than the whole lot. You can make this dress in any length, and you can also make it with normal straps like this or with tie-up straps like the ones that Isabel's got on her shoulders. We're very excited to be able to share the process of how you can make a dress like this in 30 minutes, but with all of that being said, let's get making!
My mum makes a 30-minute dress.
In this video, I'm going to be switching between the footage I took when I was filming the dress I made for Isabel and when I was making the dress for myself. But let's start with a list of all the things you're going to need to make this project. You're going to need some woven fabric and some thread to match. You're also going to need a bobbin wound with some shirring elastic and your standard sewing supplies. And the last thing you're going to need is a pocket template. I'll have a link in the description box to a pocket template for a kid size dress and an adult size dress in case you would like to download those. It's just a Google Drive document, so you can download that for free. And you'll need to print that out so we can use that for this pattern as well. So now that we've collected all the things we're going to need, we're going to measure ourselves so we know the size of dress we're going to make. So I'm going to show you when I was measuring Isabel. I have Isabel here with me and I'm going to measure her and show you how you can find the measurements you'll need to make this dress the perfect size for either yourself or whoever you are making this for. So the first measurement we need is around the chest. So can you lift your arms up? There we go. We're going around here. Does that tickle? Oh, just going to pop in here and explain something a bit better because I didn't explain it properly with Isabel before. If you're making this for an adult, because you've got the 2 shirred panels here on the top and bottom, you don't want to take your bust measurement around the middle here like you normally would because that's not where the shirring's going. So you're going to take your measurement up here where you want the shirring to sit, and you're going to use that as your chest measurement. So the next measurement we need is from the top of the bodice to where we want the bodice to sit at the waistline. So did that tickle? Sorry. So going from here to where her waistline is.
Tickle.
I'm trying not to, but I need to get your measurements.
No.
I just need to find your waist. Can you put your hands on your hips like this?
No.
Great. Keep your hands on your hips like that for me, okay? Okay, great. The third measurement we need is where to put the pockets. So can you put your hands on your hips again? Okay. So we're going from the top of the bodice here and we're going to see how far down the pockets should go. Alright, so about there. So I'm going basically where her hip is. The next measurement we need is how long to make the dress. So I'm going to hold the tape measure here from the top of the bodice and I'm going to see how long I want it to go. I want it to be just below knee length. The last measurement we need is to know where to put the straps. It is best to just try the dress on and then pin the straps where you want it because the dress is stretchy and as it stretches the straps will separate. But as a rough gauge you can kind of judge how far apart the straps would be just with a shirt like this, just judging how far the neckline is and use that as a measurement. Or like I said, the best way is to just try the dress on them and just pin the straps in place. You'll also need to measure how long you want your straps to be. So I'm measuring from the top of where I want the bodice to go to the top point of my shoulder. And then I'm also adding on for the part where I'm going to tie up the ribbon as well. So they are all 5 of the measurements we need to make this dress. So I'm going to cut out our fabric and make a start. I have my fabric here and I'm going to show you how I cut out the pattern pieces. So first I'm going to quarter my fabric. So I have the 2 edges of my fabric here And then at the halfway point, I'm going to join that together as well so that I have my fabric in quarters. This edge here is completely the enclosed side, and this side has my two raw edges. So I'm going to be using this as the fold of my fabric and cutting the rest of the pieces out, like measuring them from that fold there. So let's lay out our fabric and I'll show you how to cut the pattern piece. This side here is the fold of my fabric, and I'm going to be measuring across half of the width of my chest circumference. So with the measurement we got of my chest circumference before, I'm going to divide that by 2, and I'm going to be drawing a line going straight down of my fabric from the fold, and it's going to be the whole length of the dress. Next, we're going to take our pocket template piece and we're going to place it down this side here, as far down as we measured we wanted the pocket to go. And we're going to trace around our pattern piece just there as well, so that when we cut out our pattern piece, we're going to start by cutting down the line we originally created that will be half the width of our chest circumference, then cut around the pocket piece and continue cutting down the rest of the dress to the length that we want it to go. So the last measurement before we're able to cut it is to measure from the top of our fabric down as long as we want the dress to go, and then we're going to draw a line across so that we can cut it at the right length. Then with our pattern piece all cut out, once you unfold it, you'll have 2 pattern pieces the exact same. They're going to have pockets on either side already attached in what will be the side seam, and the same on the other side as well. So it will look a bit like this. So now that the pattern pieces are cut out, we're going to pin down the sides and around the pocket bag so that we can sew that together with a straight stitch. Because we are trying to get this project done really quickly, I have set my machine on a longer stitch length in order to be able to sew even faster. So I've set it on a 2.8 length stitch. Once you have finished straight stitching down both sides, you're going to need to do a zigzag stitch or use an overlocker to finish off the edges so that they don't fray. To hem the bottom of this dress, we're going to do a rolled hem, which is where we fold the bottom up twice and then we're going to sew along it. And normally you would sort of measure it or you would iron it down so that you had the correct measurement, but because we're wanting to get this done in half an hour, we're just going to have a guess and make it roughly even the whole way along, and it'll be fine. Whatever it is, they won't notice. Isabel won't notice. I won't notice. So we're doing that. The top and bottom of the dress are hemmed in the exact same way. We're doing a rolled hem along the top and along the bottom and just sewing that in place. We have our dress turned out the right way now, and it's just one big rectangle with the pockets on the sides here. The next step is going to be to put shirring across the top bodice panel, and then we'll put on the straps. If you haven't done shirring before, I did share a YouTube short about that. I'll link that in the description box for you to watch later so that you'll know how to set up your machine in order to do shirring. A very brief summary of what shirring is that you're using elastic in the bobbin of your sewing so that as you sew through your stitches, you're going to be creating an elastic drawn in part that will conform better to your body. It's always very comfortable and it will look nice and fitted on the top, but this will allow the bottom of the dress to still flare out and be loose. For the dresses I made for the girls, I showed the entire bodice panel, but for this one here I'm making for myself, I'm on my 5th row here of shirring along the top of the bodice, and then I'm going to skip a big section which will go over my bust, and I'll be shirring another panel just underneath my bust on my natural waistline. The reason I'm doing this is because it is a lot quicker to not have to shirr the entire bodice, and we are trying to get this done in under 30 minutes, although to be honest, this one here, making a plus size adult version, it's taking me more like 45 minutes, just putting it out there. But certainly the kids ones I could get done in 30 minutes. Usually when I'm doing shirring, I would line up the edge of my presser foot with the previous row of stitching so that I'm able to get a straight line. But because I want to make this fast, what I'm doing is making my shirring further apart so that I'm able to shirr each panel more quickly. So instead of lining up the previous row of stitching with the edge of my presser foot, I actually am using, here, I'll take this off actually. If you can see this little black knob here, I'm actually lining up the previous row of stitching with that knob so that it's a little bit wider. And that way, having my shirring panels just that little bit wider will mean that I'm able to shirr around the top panels even faster. As I'm finishing each row of shirring, I'm not cutting off my threads and starting again. I'm just shifting my fabric over and continuing on with the next row of stitching, making sure to go forwards and backwards at the beginning. Doing this means that you're not having to keep taking your fabric out and snipping threads, and I am just leaving those what will be loops of thread going from one row to the other. So I'm just going to finish this row of shirring on the dress that I'm making for myself, and then I'm going to measure down as far as I want the bodice to be in length, and I'm going to sew a few rows of shirring there. It would be a lot easier to do this part before you do the initial shirring, so you might want to mark out where your waistline is before you shirr that top panel, because otherwise it's just all scrunchy like this. So learn from my mistakes. Mark out your waistline before you do the shirring panel on the top. Use the measurement you took earlier of how big you wanted the bodice to be from the top of your chest down to your waistline, and I'm measuring that distance from the top of the dress here and drawing a straight line where that waistline is, and then I'm going to shirr just one row and try it on. So after you've done your 4 or 5 rows of shirring along the top and you've done 1 row along the waist, I've tried it on to see whether I need more shirring going down or more shirring going up. And for me, I definitely need the shirring to be higher on the waist. So now I'm going to take it off and do probably another 2 or 3 rows of shirring above this waistline one that I have done, and then we'll be ready to put on the straps. I'll be showing you both how to just make a normal strap that's sewn on both the front and the back, and also how to make a tie-on strap. For the girls' dresses, I did the tie-on straps. So you need 4 pieces of your ribbon, and you're going to sew them on at the 4 points, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. And then you're able to tie the ribbons over the shoulder, or I like to tie it at the back so that it's not getting in their way. In order to make sure that the straps are even on both sides of the dress, I'm folding the dress in half and I'm lining up each of the 2 front straps on top of each other, and then doing the same on the back. Don't forget to take out your shirring elastic and swap to your regular thread again. Been there, done that. To sew the straps on, I'm folding the edge of the strap over twice to enclose the raw edge, and I'm stitching a row of stitching at the top and then a row of stitching at the bottom of that folded part. With the ends of the ribbon here, you could choose to fold them over twice and sew it down just to stop it from fraying there, but I like to burn the edges with a match instead. It creates sort of a plastic bit on the end so that it prevents the fraying, but it doesn't have that bulky bit where you've folded it over. So I prefer to do this. If you don't feel like that's a safe option for you, then just go ahead and sew it. It just melts the plastic because it's polyester ribbon. Just melts it a little bit and keeps it from fraying. Simple. So now that that's all done, I can tie up the ribbons and Isabel can wear it. Although I do wonder if these ribbons are going to be a bit too thick to tie neatly into a bow. We shall see. For my own dress, I figured that I'm not going to grow any taller, so I don't need my straps to be adjustable. So I have sewn them on the front, and then I have just measured back to where I want them to be on the back and sewn them in place there as well. I've specifically tried it on and sewn it on so that it will cover my bra strap, because I really don't want my bra straps showing, but I also don't want to wear a strapless bra. The dark blue ribbon was good on my dress because it was wide enough to cover my bra strap, but it is a bit fiddly to tie up on Isabel's. So I may end up changing out the strap that I have put on Isabel's dress, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it is, and let's have a look at what all of these dresses look like on. So there you have it. That is how I made these dresses in around about 30 minutes. This one did take me more like 45, but you can certainly get a kid size one done in 30. If you have a go at making a dress like this, we would love to see a picture of it. You can tag me in your photos on Instagram at mymum.marie or send them to me over on Facebook. You being the ding noise that pops up on screen. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you are still wanting to watch more of my content, a few of my other videos will pop up after this one. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, go get creative, and we'll see you later!